Here we are. We're on game 4. Are we on game 4D?
We are 4 game.
We're on the third game
on
of
the
the
third
second day of the European SmackDown. I had absolutely no idea what game we were on then, but luckily I do have a schedule in front of me. I am, of course, the lovely Beatrix, and joining me on live stream for the first half of this game
is Demauer from Glasgow Roller Derby. First time announcing. I'm going to do my best.
First time announcing a live stream, of course.
Yes.
So we're going to talk you through this first half. Glasgow versus Stockholm. Glasgow, of course, already played this morning. First game against London. That scoreline, London 5-2-6, Glasgow 9. So what are we going to expect for the Glasgow-Stockholm game? Well, yesterday was a bit of a steep curve for Glasgow. They lost both their games. We know that they've got a lot of new faces on their roster this season, but their defense has been absolutely fantastic. Stockholm haven't played today. Played yesterday against London.
They lost against London, 295-49.
Okay.
They did a very good job with their walls. So I think we can expect great things from both Glasgow and Stockholm today on the defense side.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting because, as you said, Stockholm very defensive yesterday. Glasgow really working hard on that defence in all their games so far this weekend. So how is that going to play out on the track? Well, we're going to find out. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you're thinking about today's game, this weekend's tournament. Talk to us. We're at #talk2 SmackDown. And you can tweet us all your inner workings, please. So we'll just run through of the rosters. Of course, Glasgow playing in the yellow today. We have a number 3, the captain, Shorty Mac Lightning Pants. 18, Siobhan Sinclair. 182, Nikki Blocker Glory. Number 2, Jessie Scar. 350, Devil's Advocate. Number 4, Megan Hindman. 40, Lindsay Watson. 42, Marshall Lawless. 507, Phoenix. 7, Sarah McMillan. 730, Fever. 789, General Strike. 823, Cara Viola. And number 91, Amy.
And for Stockholm Roller Derby, who are playing in blue, we have 00, Polygamy Winehouse, 100, Evil Liza, 11, Maureen Phillip, 131, Cracker, 16, Panic at the Hex, 221, Sheila Holmes, 241, Ex Machina, 46, Sweetheart, 5, Emma Ryxfemma, 55, Femme Fury, 67, Tesla Mess, 86, Final FCD, 87, Lil Slinky, and 934, Quidditch.
So that's the rosters, and we're about ready for first whistle. Number 42, that's Marshall Lawless with the star for Glasgow.
And Lil Slinky for Stockholm.
Lil Slinky, certainly a crowd favourite. This jam shows no difference. She's through as lead jammer. Marshall Lawless at the back of that blue 2 wall, looking for a space. Knocked to the inside, recycle back.
Lil Slinky through for 5 points. And we see Glasgow's jammer trying to get through, and she's through and out.
She is, but Lil Slinky already on another scoring pass, calls that jam dead. 5 more points on the board for Stockholm.
10-0 to Stockholm on this jam. Lining up for Stockholm this next jam is number 16, Panic at the Hex.
And for Glasgow, that's number 7, Sarah McMillan.
Glasgow having 1 blocker in the box.
Okay, so starting with a 4-3 pack advantage for Stockholm. And great toe stop work there by number 16, Panisa de Hex. She's through as lead. Sarah McMillan up against a tight wall of blue up front. Glasgow's 507 Phoenix off to the penalty box. And Sarah McMillan really struggling to find a space. Glasgow coming in to defend against the Stockholm jammer.
And Panic at the Hex getting knocked to the infield and drawn back by Shorty.
Polygamy Winehouse denying Sarah any space. She breaks through, but number 100, Evil Liza, there to pick her up. McMillan makes it out of the pack. Stockholm's Gemma coming in hot to grab some points. Oh,
And Panic at the Hex trying to call it off by cut, but gets a track cut thanks to Shorty, who stayed in bounds with one toe stop and forced that. Now we're seeing Glasgow's Jammer going to the box for a low block.
so Jammer switcheroo there in the penalty box. Stockholm's Jammer released first. Coming in to engage with that wall. Knocked to the outside. She's going to be recycled right the way back.
And Power Gem is over as Sarah McMillan is back on the track. We're going to see this going the full 2 minutes, only 13 seconds left in this jam. And Panica is through, getting her 5 points, putting them on the board. And let's see if Glasgow didn't.
Well, Glasgow could do the same perhaps. Sarah McMillan with the star pass there to number 91, Amy. Wasn't as sneaky as they might have liked. Stockholm picked up on that play. Shut down Amy. Jam came to an end, 24 points, so 14-point jam there for Stockholm, 0 still to Glasgow. But we've got 26 minutes of gameplay left in this first half.
Lining up on the jammer line for Stockholm is Maureen. And for Glasgow, we have number 789, General Strike, who really pushes that Stockholm wall up in the front.
Marine really coming in hot and heavy into that pack just a moment ago. Picks up 5 points. General Strike escorted to the outside. She's going to be recycled back. Number 5 sent off for a penalty though.
Stockholm losing 3 blockers to the penalty box. So Glasgow is looking to score some points, and they do. First 4 points on the board for Glasgow.
Marine answering with 4 of her own though for Stockholm. Checks in with the bench, calls off that jam. But Glasgow with points on the board now in jam 3.
And Stockholm having Sweetheart on the queue to the box. So there's going to be some blocker switch on the track later.
So Stockholm Roller Derby 37, Glasgow on 4. But Stockholm with only 2 blockers out on track. And as you say, that is, of course, Sweetheart, who is queuing for the box while she's out on track. So at some point, there's going to be just 1 blocker on play, 1 blocker coming in, 1 blocker going off.
And Glasgow with a blocker advantage with 3 blockers on the track. And we have seen some great defense work from Glasgow. We saw that yesterday when they played. And we saw that earlier today against London.
Tough
and
game against London, right?
Yeah.
But they got 9 points, and I think they seemed incredibly happy with that. And who can blame them? London, number 1 in Europe, going against Glasgow.
And back to the action on the track. Little Slinky for Stockholm taking the lead. And we have for Glasgow,
That looks like number 2, Jessie Scarr,
who's out of the pack and looking to score some points.
Well, she's certainly powering around that track. Hop, skip, and a jump over the defences.
2
And more points for Glasgow. 2 more on the board. And let me tell you what a fantastic atmosphere it is today in the stadium. Plenty of people cheering earlier with the Crime City Helsinki game. If you missed that, let me tell you, the scores: Crime City 176, Helsinki 70. That was a hard-fought game indeed, and the supporters were crazy loud in here.
It was a rough game. But back to this one. On the jammer line for Glasgow is number 42, Marshall Lawless. And for Stockholm, we have Quadich, who picks a track cut and gets a seat in the box, only to be followed by Macmillan for a track.
Marshall Lawless.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So we have a switch in the penalty box. So this is going to go the full 2 minutes.
Glasgow once again with that blocker advantage. 4 on 3 in the pack. As soon as I say that, Cara Viola 823 off to the penalty box. Also 507 Phoenix joining her. So micro pack now for Glasgow, but that's not going to stop Shorty McLightning Plants, the captain, who is looking at keeping Stockholm's jam at bay. Well, she's made it through the pack now. Just as Marshall Lawless approaches, takes the outside line. Small hit from number 46, Swede Hurt. Dancing on her toe stops to get through. Thought she just about made it, but not to the inside. She's taken a moment just to reset herself. Is Quidditch already with another 4 points on the board for Stockholm. Lawless yet again being recycled by Stockholm. Quidditch through for another 5 points.
Look at that offense that Glasgow is giving their jammer. They're on the Stockholm blockers all the time. Now they're focusing on defense, holding Quidditch in the front.
And it's pretty much packs at a standstill there as Lawless pushing that back wall of Stockholm. Quidditch up front looking for an in the yellow wall of Glasgow. Well, jam comes to an end. 5 further points on the board for Stockholm, and that looks like 4 more points for Glasgow.
Glasgow sitting at 11 points right now and Stockholm at 60.
So already in this game, Glasgow putting points on the board much earlier than they have in any of the previous games this weekend. That's going to feel great for them. That's a real mood lifter, isn't it?
I think so. They look really fierce on the track, Glasgow.
So
and they have had some hard games this weekend, and that they're still pushing themselves is fantastic. I'm amazed by them.
Oh, fantastic work there. I have to say, my blocker of the tournament, number 18, Siobhan Sinclair, some great work at knocking out the Stockholm jammer, number 16, Panisa de Hex. She's been recycled back through that pack, comes up against Siobhan once again, manages to break through though, took her nearly 40 seconds to be called lead jammer. Sarah McMillan, though, still in the mix of Stockholm blockers, knocked out by number 100, that is Eva Lisa, recycled once again.
Those Stockholm blockers are really fast.
Yeah.
They take you out and then they're back. And you can't really be sure who took you out because they all go back.
They are relentless. Relentless.
We saw that they did that yesterday when they played against London, the foursome track cuts on them. And that's the jam ending there.
So 10-point jam there for Stockholm. Glasgow with no points in that jam. Up next, we have 789 General Strike with the star for Glasgow.
And I think it's Lil Slinky on the track for Stockholm. And she really has earned her name this weekend. She just slings through. And Glasgow's jammer is out of the pack.
Well, that was some fantastic work. Unfortunately, nearly a full lap behind Lil Slinky. Jam is called dead. Glasgow picking up not picking up any points. You can't pick up 0 points. Why would I say that?
But they forced Slinky to call off the jam.
That's exactly right, with only 4 points.
Yeah.
You knew where I was going. 74 points to Stockholm. If you've just joined us there in the blue, Glasgow in the yellow.
And Maureen Phillips, Maureen jamming for Stockholm, but Glasgow picking up lead with only 9 seconds.
Fantastic. Number 2, Jessie Scarr, the jammer for Glasgow there. She's
trying to score some points. Looks at Maureen coming in, calls it off, picks up 2 points. Every point counts.
Fantastic work.
And every point is well earned.
Absolutely. So Glasgow on 13. So 3 points picked up then? Oh no, 2 points. It's a good job somebody can count. The refs being the main people. 2 points picked up by Glasgow. 0 points for Stockholm in that jam. And we have number 42, Marshall Lawless.
And 9-3 for Quidditch on the line. We're seeing some jammer and jammer action. Quidditch trying to deliver the Glasgow jammer to her blockers. And now pushing in the front. Look how Glasgow's jammer pushing that Stockholm wall.
Yeah, she's literally running with the wall to try and get the traction. Quidditch gets lead, but Marshall Lawless just not giving up at Stockholm.
But gets out on a forearm penalty and sits in the box. So let's see what Stockholm and Glasgow are going to do on this power jam.
Quidditch coming in. She's got a 3-wall of Glasgow to get through. Number 87, the little slinky. Oh, sorry, excuse me, number 67, Tess the Mess, just disrupting the Glasgow defences. Allows Quidditch easy pass through, comes in again to clear a space, but Quidditch takes the outside line, works out well for her, she picks up a full 5 points.
And freezing Glasgow's Lawless in the box. So Stockholm is going to start out with a power jam with Lil Slinky on the line. All blockers on the track for both teams. But I don't think Lawless has that much time left because
she's standing.
Yeah, it looks like she's ready to go. And she's out on the track and Lil Slinky taken out, bridged back.
Yeah, that was Siobhan
And
Powell.
Glasgow on the lead. Then Lil Slinky close behind. Well, let's see if Glasgow can score some points here.
Siobhan Sinclair with that hit out on Little Slinky goes in again. Little Slinky ping-ponging off another one of the Glasgow blockers. Marshall Lawless calls off the jam, picks up a point for Glasgow.
And 2 points for Stockholm on that jam. But you know, taking 1 point, giving up 2, they look so happy on the track.
Definitely.
This team. And they look happy on their bench too. It's good to see.
It really, really is that they're enjoying this weekend's tournament, the European SmackDown, the first WFTDA D1 recognised tournament.
On the track, we have Panic at the Hex for Stockholm and
number 7, Sarah McMillan for Glasgow. Panika de Hex through the pack. And already coming in for her scoring pass. Sarah McMillan dancing with the blue of Stockholm at the front. Beautiful footwork there, keeping inbounds. But Panika de Hex through the pack, checking in with her bench.
And Stockholm having some penalty problems right there. We have 2-2-1 Sherlock Holmes in queue for the box, while they have 2 blockers already sitting in the box.
So Glasgow Sarah McMillan went in for an apex jump, didn't quite get the points that she would have liked. 0 points there for Glasgow, 4 points only for Stockholm.
That's a good kill.
Yeah, exactly. And Glasgow doing that thing where they're keeping the pressure on Stockholm, keeping those jam scores low.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what's going to happen now.
Maureen just taking the inside line, dancing through. Great footwork by Polygamy Winehouse, who has to let 7, 8, 9 General Strike go. And it's a race on the track. 0 points for both teams.
Stockholm picking up 4 points.
4
there.
points.
Yeah, they got
okay.
1 pass in.
They got one pass in, that's right. It's good that we're two then. And
so scores as they stand right now: Glasgow on 14, Stockholm Roller Derby 99. 13 and a half minutes left of this first half. If you've just joined us, well, where have you been? Check out number 87, Lil Slinky, picking up lead for Stockholm. Well, number 2, Jessie Scar, dancing around Swedehurt's hips, taking an assist from her captain, number 3, Shorty. But Lightning Pants sprung free of the pack, but chasing Little Slinky as she picks up points for Stockholm.
you know, we see that Glasgow's jammers are getting out of the pack, chasing Stockholm, forcing them to call off. So, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can see that they're switching from defense to offense a lot.
Definitely, yeah. I'm with you on that.
And both teams do that, but Glasgow is just amazing.
Well, they're working incredibly hard at it here. They're keeping Stockholm to low-scoring jams, and that's all down to their defense. Right now, we have 9-3-4 Quadich, lead jammer for Stockholm. Marshall Lawless, number 42, recycled back by the blocker. She comes in, attacks that front 3 wall, gets a little bit of help from Amy, pushing forward again. She's hoping, I guess, to run out of track and get those blockers called out of play. That doesn't happen. They escort her to the outside, and she's recycled right the way back once more. Quadich already picking up points for Stockholm, 5 points so far.
Great blocking by Glasgow, though. They pushed her out and drawed her back before, so, and now we can see how they're working that 4 wall and not letting her go, but they have to.
They do. They run out of track. Marshall Lawless with a star stash right now. Knocked to the inside by 1-3-1 Cracker.
And star pass has occurred to Amy.
Number 91. So we've seen this a few times in Glasgow's play. The star stash, the sneaky star pass. Amy often accepting it quite a lot of times. Quadich just going around the outside. Very little challenge on her. And I think this is exactly the problem that Glasgow is facing right now. Is they struggle to stick with either defense or offense when we get into this situation. So
trying to do everything at once isn't really helping them.
Yes, but the more experience they get in this new roster in particular, the more experience, the better they're getting at it. Stockholm, of course, can exploit that.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Glasgow in the future, because I think they're coming back home with a lot of tips and tricks, and they learn a lot. Oh, power jam start for Glasgow. Sweeter taking out number 7, Sarah McMillan, bridging back. She pushes that blue wall of defenders.
Just literally inching along that track. Stockholm looking to slow her down, but she's through. Picks up lead jammer.
And now power jams over as Quadich enters the track and looking to get through.
Sarah coming in, knocked to the inside, wisely calls off that jam.
And Glasgow losing number 823, Caraviola, to the box for a clockwise block.
But picking up 3 points along the way.
That's good job, 3 points. Stockholm with 135 and Glasgow with 17 points on the board right now. 9 minutes left of this first half of the third game of today at the European SmackDown here in Malmö.
All the numbers.
Sweden. And Lil Slinky on the track. getting out, taking lead. Whilst General Strike looks to push through and gets through, shrugging Polygamy Winehouse off.
Fantastic job at that. Polygamy Winehouse, one of those blockers who's just everywhere you don't want her to be. Little Slinky coming into the pack, calls off the jam. Did she pick up her points?
See how referees are talking. Glasgow close to scoring points. Little Slinky 1 point. Good job, Glasgow, on shutting that down.
So 6 points scored in total in that jam for Stockholm. Again, low scoring jams. This morning, the London game, we saw 35, 39 point jams. So just showing how Glasgow have tightened up that defensive work. They're not allowing Stockholm the same kind of space that, London had.
Yeah, and we talked about Glasgow having new people on the roster. So does Stockholm.
Right.
They have many from their B team coming up, playing in the A team. So it's really great work from both teams this weekend. And Maureen coming through, scoring 5 points.
Jessie Scarr still on her initial pass.
Stockholm's pivot in the box. Sweetheart really being a fantastic blocker on the track, and Maureen tries a apex jump but doesn't land it.
No, she apex jumped, but Meg Hyman's hips got in the way. So didn't land it the way she might have liked. Meg Hyman was incredibly happy with that, by the way. I think she really felt like she did a good job. Right now, Jessie Scarr through that pack. That was her initial pass. 30 seconds left of this game. Will she be able to put on the burners and call the... Oh, will she be able to put on the burners and get some points before the jam's called? I've answered my own question.
2 points
Did
for
she?
Stockholm,
No.
0 for
I
Glasgow.
thought 2 points for Glasgow then. I was like, wow.
Wow, no.
But no.
Stockholm having 2 blockers on the track, they really should see to that penalty.
They should really have a word with themselves. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that because even though you put scores on the board, you're much stronger when you have all blockers on the track. And as a jammer, you really want to have all blockers on the track.
Stands to reason. You're much stronger when your team's out there rather than sat down watching you. Right, quick recap of the scores. Glasgow 17, Stockholm 158. We've got 6 minutes left of this first half. We are in an official review.
And being able to be here at the European SmackDown, we thank Sucker Punch for that. Be helped and advised in English, French, Dutch, German and Spanish at an easy web shop with simple and fast shipping. More than a store, we're a workshop where we mount and fix our skates. Europe's finest roller derby shop, owned and operated by derby skaters.
And probably just time to talk about Quad, Europe's original brick and mortar roller derby equipment supplier. Quad Roller Skate Shop has the best selection and most stock of any store on the continent.
So we talked about the box. I want to hear you all. What are your thoughts about the box? Is it fun in the box or is it boring? What do you do when you go to the box?
I thought you were talking to me and I was like, I never go to the box anymore, darling, let me tell you.
So talk to us at Talk2 SmackDown on Twitter.
Please do, and don't forget to tell us who your MVP blocker and jammers are this weekend. I mean, for me, I'm going to say it again, Siobhan Sinclair, number 18 for Glasgow. Not afraid at all to do that challenging this morning against London. She was throwing those hits about like nobody's business. And again, already in this game with Stockholm, she is getting stuck in there. Right now,
we have a jam dance, a jam-a-line dance.
They're having a jam-off with themselves. Is it called a jam-off? I don't think that's a real...
I don't know.
Jam dance-off? some sort of synchronized dancing, and why not? We're here
to have fun this weekend. We're here to see awesome derby. Europe's it's the first time.
This has been the official review by Stockholm. They were asking for a cutting call on the yellow jammer in corner 4 in the last jam. The result is the no call will stand. There was no cutting by the yellow jammer.
Okay, so Stockholm requesting a track cut on Glasgow's jammer, but no call will stand.
So, back to the action then in just a moment. We have number 42, Marshall Lawless, with the star on for Glasgow.
And number 164, Panica de Hex. As we see, you know, and Glasgow up and through on the inside, taking the lead. And Panica de Hex out and through.
Fantastic work, but could track penalties being assessed to the Glasgow blockers, meaning 2 on 2 in the pack right now. Marshall Lawless coming in, takes the outside line, passes the Stockholm blockers, calls off the jam.
And gets 3 points for that, and leaving Stockholm with 0.
So 158 to 20. 5 minutes left of this first half. Great work there by Marshall Lawless.
I wonder if Glasgow hadn't played London and they were fresh this morning, how this game would go, because we have to think that Stockholm, this is the first game of today.
It really is, but I don't know. I think 0-3 Shorty Lightning Pants legs are pretty fresh. She challenged number 87, Lil Slinky, right off the mark there. Forced that recycle back, and so it's took 20 seconds for lead jammer to be called. Sarah Marshall McMillan, though, stuck in a triangle of doom, led by Sweetheart.
Glasgow has only one blocker on the track, but Shorty managed to get Sarah McMillan out.
And Sweet doing a fantastic job there of just stopping Glasgow from being able to do that forward recycling to pick up Little Slinky. She came around the outside. Sweet just sticking firm on the track, right in the middle of them, really stopped them from being able to move either way. Little Slinky went past on the outside line, and all Glasgow could do was watch. So 167 to 20.
On the jammer line for Stockholm, we have Quadditch and number 789, General Strike, in the yellow for Glasgow.
Quadditch to the outside, challenged by Siobhan Sinclair, recycled back. General Strike also the same though.
We have seen some great toe stop work, but Quadditch didn't really land that toe stop work. She gets to sit in the box for a track cut. Lead is open, and General Strike is claiming that. 2 on the front to beat. She takes the lead for Glasgow.
Cracker in her way, took a spill on the track, just left that space clear, but again, fantastic work, General Strike, putting on the speed to find that space on the inside line, picking up those 5 points for Glasgow.
Quadditch still on her initial pass. Stockholm losing 8-6, FCD to the penalty box.
General Strike in the mix, down to her knees. She's going to be recycled back. Quadditch making it out of her initial pass now. And General Strike just checking in with the bench. Calls the jam.
And picks up 3 points, so a total 8-point jam for Glasgow in the yellow, 0 for Stockholm in blue. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock for this halftime. No, yes, I'm looking at it right.
No, yes. Yes, just yes.
Just yes.
So yes, just under 2 minutes left. Glasgow 27, Stockholm 167, and we have number 11, Maureen Phillip.
Yeah.
for Stockholm, and she is joined by number 2, Jessie Scarr for Glasgow.
And Glasgow doing a really great defense job in the front, keeping Maureen on her toe stops. Just as I say that, she's through and lead.
Announcer curse right there.
It must be that.
Jessie Scarr looking for the spaces, comes to the front, but so does Stockholm around the outside, picked up by number 86, FCD.
And Maureen dancing through on the inside. Now Glasgow coming up to give some offense, but decides that we're doing defense instead. They're really good at, they've been really great at their defense all weekend.
Sarah McMillan just picking up Maureen as she exits the pack. Doesn't land it the way I think she'd like.
But Jess Iska going to the box for a track cut. Maureen trying an apex jump, but gets number 40, Lindsay Watson's hips in her way and needs to be recycled back.
I really hate it when that happens. Just walking down the supermarket and Watson's hips get in my way.
Yeah, but let's see that 2 blocking in the front. Great job.
5 more points on the board for Stockholm. Jam comes to an end. Jessie Scarr standing in that penalty box. Stockholm on 182, Glasgow 27.
And this period is over. We're in half time for 15 minutes.
We are in halftime. Indeed, that was your half on
That
the
was
live stream.
My half on the live stream. It was fun. I don't really know yet. It's different than announcing in-house.
Definitely.
And you know, you hear your voice and you're like, is this what I sounded like? Do I speak English like this? And apparently I do. But it was really fun. I mean, it's great seeing these teams
Definitely.
playing each other, and you know, Glasgow really coming out with a spark.
Yes. And they could very easily go the other way.
Yeah.
They've had a tough weekend. Lesser teams would have dropped their head by now.
Yeah.
But Glasgow haven't. They've kept fighting. They are doing themselves proud. And certainly I think they can watch back the footage over this weekend, see where they need to make some improvements, see what they can replicate, what they're doing really well, and they're just going to learn from this. This year, they're defending their title in the British Championships. They've got lots of track time together as a team. It's going to be fantastic for them. And I'm sure I said this morning, you know, this is a real learning weekend for them. And I think you can say that confidently, that they are learning. So, we're going to be back here in 30 minutes. I'd just like to say thank you.
Thank you for me too, and I hope I'll get to talk to you again sometime.
Definitely, Dee. I'm sure we will. We'll be back in just under 15 minutes. Here we are, back at the Stockholm versus Glasgow game. European SmackDown Day 2, Game 3. I am the lovely Beatrix, and joining me for the first time on live stream today
would be Bitter Hitan from Stockholm Roller Derby.
Okay, so first time ever announcing on live stream.
Yes.
Not the first time ever announcing though.
I've got like 4 or 5 games
Practically
now.
a veteran.
Yes, I know.
Absolutely.
Like, I could do this in my sleep now.
Excellent.
So if it's okay, I'm going to take a nap.
Okay, I'll see how that works out for us. If you're just joining us, Glasgow in the yellow,
Yeah.
Stockholm in the blue, and a recap of those scores at half-time. Stockholm 182, Glasgow 27. Of course, second game today for Glasgow. They played London first thing this morning. The scoreline there was 5-2-6 for London, 9 to Glasgow. Stockholm's first game today.
Yes, and they also only played 1 game yesterday. So
Who did they play yesterday?
London.
And the scoreline there was 295 to 49.
Yes.
I don't know, but I imagine if you play London, it kind of feels like you've played 3 teams in one.
Yeah, probably. But they did really well.
They did, absolutely.
But it was a tough game. I think we had like 2 jams with no lead jammer, with the jammers just, I don't know.
Just
having
crying?
Yes, probably.
Please, Mummy, no more. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I announced that game. It was really fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Lots of defensive walls from Stockholm. This is what I'm hearing.
So hard walls. It was crazy.
And so this morning, Glasgow, coming into this London game, well, you know, London is London, number
Yes.
1 in Europe, high up there in WFTDA world. Glasgow did a great job of tightening up their defences, and again now in the Stockholm game, that's exactly what we're seeing. Tight defence from Glasgow, but going into this first jam of the second half, number 87, that's Lil Slinky, she's picked up lead for Glasgow jamming for the first time. Oh, for Glasgow jamming, excuse me, number 2, Jessie Scar, hopping and jumping through the pack on her initial pass.
So we have Lil Slinky through for 5 points.
Checking in with her bench coach, checks to see where Jessie Scar is, calls off the jam, denying Glasgow any. Picks up 5 points for Stockholm.
And we have number 16, Panic at the Hex, entering the track for Stockholm Roller Derby against...
That's number 47, Marshall Lawless, out on track for Glasgow. Certainly one of the most consistent jammers this weekend. She's really been there in the thick of it, pushing forward and grabbing those hard-won points for Glasgow.
And we have Testament on her way back to the pack, so we have a full complement of blockers. And Tess does offense on her way back and gets Panic at through for the lead jammer. And Lawless is through on her initial as well.
Oh, Panic at the Hex with a little bit of a 180-degree jump. Lands straddling the track, wisely calls it off.
And does not get a cutting track, which was good.
Yes, well done. Good work.
Yes. We have Maureen Phillip for Stockholm Roller Derby on the jammer line.
And that is 789 Generals. Oh no, sorry, number 4. Megan Heintman for Glasgow.
And Stockholm has 2 blockers in the box. So she is forcing against Sweetheart and Cracker. Maureen is through for lead jammer.
Cracker in a Glasgow sandwich breaks free from the pack. Just as Maureen comes in for a scoring pass.
Calls it off for 1 point and denies Glasgow any points.
Siobhan Sinclair again there doing a stellar job of picking up Stockholm's jammer, knocking her out and forcing that recycle back. 189 to 27 now for Stockholm.
And we have Lil Slinky on the jammer line for Stockholm against General Strike for Glasgow.
Lots of support here in the arena for Glasgow this weekend.
And we have a lead for Lil Slinky and Cracker recycles Glasgow jammer twice.
Well, you know, if you've done it well once, why not do it again?
She knows her stuff, so why not?
General Strike now pushing against that wall of Stockholm blue.
As Lil Slinky takes 5 more points.
General Strike making it out, 1 left to pass, she does. Little Slinky coming in for another scoring pass. Calls the jam super quick. Doesn't want Glasgow grabbing any more points. And Stockholm at 199, 10 points. Oh, sorry, they've broken the 200 mark, 201 now. 201 to Stockholm, 27 to Glasgow.
And we have number 93 for Quaritch, jamming against Jessie Ska for Glasgow. There's some sort of timeout. I am not sure which.
So, cut track penalty being assessed to the Glasgow jammer. That is general strike. That call was obviously made late at the end of that jam.
Which means a power start for Stockholm.
And that is 934 Quaritch wearing the star for Stockholm. Takes the inside line easily, or so she thought. Siobhan Sinclair had other ideas. Shut the door on that inside line, forced the recycle back. Coming in again now to complete that initial pass. Not to the outside, Siobhan Sinclair, the late hit, doesn't land it. Lead jammer to Stockholm.
And Glasgow jammer is standing in the box.
Stockholm rushing in.
Doing some offense for Quaritch.
Sarah Marshall and Sarah McMillan and Amy working in a 2-wall. Joined by 823 Carla Viola, keeping Quaritch at bay. As general strike back on track and in play, fighting her way through Stockholm.
And Quaritch is through for 5 more points. And we have a cut track on the Glasgow jammer. A general strike on her way to the box.
So general strike off to the box again. Remember, she started this jam in the penalty box. She'll be out just in time for the end of this jam. Number 91, Amy, though, forcing that call off with a huge hit on Quaritch.
And now Glasgow has both pivot and jammer in the box. So starting off with 3 blockers against the full line from Stockholm. Maureen Phillip, number 11 on the jammer line.
2 on 5 to 27 if you just joined us. Glasgow playing in the yellow, Stockholm in the blue. 14-point jam there. So in the first half, I feel Glasgow were really trying to keep Stockholm's scoring per jam at as low as possible, and that certainly worked out for them. This last jam, we've seen a 14-point jam. Are Glasgow going to be able to maintain that pressure and keep the scores low? I don't know, but somebody like Maureen jamming for Stockholm is going to make that difficult.
She just recently started to jam. She was a blocker last season. Transferred from Umeå and blocked. Now just started jamming last weekend.
Just last weekend?
That was her first game as jammer.
Well, it certainly suits her.
It does.
She's doing a mighty fine job. Let's check in with the scores after that jam. 2-2-4 for Stockholm.
They're closing in on a 200-point differential.
Yeah. Glasgow still at 27.
They've not scored that many points this half.
They've not scored any points this half,
Really?
indeed. Yeah.
That's Slinky out for a lead for Stockholm. And Jessie Ska working at the Stockholm blockers in the back.
Little Slinky already with 5 points on the board for Stockholm. Jessie Ska jumping around the inside, gets through on her initial pass as Little Slinky just around the outside. Absolutely no challenge from the Glasgow blockers. Only 2 of them out on track right now. Picks up another 5 points. 2, 3, 4, so a 10-point jam there.
Slinky is hard to stop if you're only 2 people. I think I'd say you need at least 6.
At least 6
Yeah.
people. That just means then that she's unstoppable on the roller derby track.
More or less, yes.
So 2-3-3, I apologise for STRD, 27 to Glasgow. So that differential at 200 points now. Number 42, Marshall Lawless wearing the star for Glasgow.
And we have number 16, Panic at a Hex for Stockholm, and she gets recycled once again.
Yeah,
to the
Watson
outside.
then, number 40 with that recycle. She picks up a penalty of her own and go and sit in that penalty box.
And that is the lead for Stockholm.
Marshall Lawless fighting her way through, half a lap behind though.
We have some offense from the front from Stockholm. And Panica calls it and picks up 4 points, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think maybe I need new glasses. 'Cause
No.
I can't really see.
I think you were right. 2:37 now to 27. 20 minutes left of this second half. Coming up next, don't forget, we have the last game on live stream for today, which is Detroit versus Helsinki.
That's going to be an interesting game, I think.
Well, I'm excited for that because yesterday Detroit had the first and the last game.
Yeah.
So nice to see how they've got on now. They've had nearly a full day to rest. But back to the action out on track. Maureen is lead for Stockholm.
Against Megan Hindman for Glasgow, working at the 3-wall of Stockholm blockers in the front.
And Stockholm just bracing that triangle against Megan. She was at the front of the pack. Now she finds herself at the back being recycled by Swedhurt. Glasgow putting up a defensive wall to try and keep Maureen at bay. Doesn't manage to keep her there for long. And soon she's round again for another scoring pass.
And we have a star stash for Hindman. Working at the blockers with the star in her hand. And I think she is trying to find her pivot.
I think her pivot's there, but I think also Stockholm know where her pivot are.
Yes,
And
they do.
they're trying to stop that coupling from happening.
Yes. Which is reasonable.
Yeah, I don't decry them that at all. Megan Hindman just pushing.
And we have number 221 for Stockholm, Sheil Combs, entering the box for a clockwise block.
Tag team from Shorty and Watson on the Stockholm jammer. She's checking in with the bench as Hindman's coming round, looking for some points.
Wanting to get her blockers out of the box.
Calls it a little bit late though, so Glasgow break the deadlock, pick up 4 points of their own.
That's good.
31 now to Glasgow.
Earned points. Well earned points.
Really well earned points. So in that first half, number 87, that is Lil Slinky, scored 43 points in total over just 3 jams.
She takes lead with the Glasgow jammer just behind her. We have number 789, General Strike.
Is Little Slinky made of blurred pixels? Dana, let me tell you, even in real life, she's made of blurred pixels. She moves so fast, any human eye can't see her.
No, and also she's kind of a superhuman with the way her body bends around other people.
I think she makes other people's bodies bend around her. I think that's what
Probably.
actually happens.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I can't wait for the after party. I'm sure it'll be just as amazing. So, Stockholm leading with quite a big differential right now. They're on 256 to Glasgow's 31, so 225 point differential. We've got a timeout happening, so just enough time to thank our sponsors, the lovely Sucker Punch, Europe's finest roller derby shop, owned and operated by derby skaters. They have an easy web shop with simple and fast shipping. Be helped and advised in English, French, Dutch, German and Spanish.
And please remember to talk to us at @SmackDown on Twitter. We love your input on what's going on. And we're back with
Number 2, Jessie Scarr for Glasgow.
against number 934 Quidditch for Stockholm.
Quidditch dancing about up front. Jessie Scarr, though, looking to pick up lead, which she does. Fantastic start there for Jessie Scarr. Quidditch at the back.
The crowd is supporting
appreciative.
Glasgow at this point.
Swedeherd taking a tumble. Jessie Scar off to the penalty box for Glasgow. Low block penalty assessed, meaning power jam right now.
And a long jam for the jammers now. We have Quaritch coming back to the pack.
Quidditch just pushing forward on the Glasgow 3-wall, waiting for them to run out of track. Out of play is called. Penalty assessed from number 91, Amy, and also number 7, Sarah McMillan. Quidditch with 5 points on the board for Stockholm.
And Jessie's got back on track.
So Glasgow did a fantastic job there of pretty much neutralising that power jam against them. They gave away 5 points. Jessie Scar also waiting for that track to run out. Out of play, warnings called. And Polygamy Winehouse off to the penalty box for that.
And Jessie Scar picking up 5 points for Glasgow. And
Captain Shorty with lightning pants now also off to the penalty box. Jessie Scar, 5 points on the board.
And 5 points for Quaritch, and the box is almost full. So not many players from the track.
The box is almost full. The track feels pretty empty.
Yes. Also, they're just running around. Oh my God!
Beautiful work by Jessie Scar. Ducking and diving around the outside line. Picks up 4 points. Again, Quidditch answering with 4 of her own as Jessie Scar comes through once more.
Runs through.
Scores another 4 points just as the jam comes to an end. Well, what a fantastic jam that was for Glasgow.
I think they're passing 50 points. Or, no.
Stockholm 270. Glasgow 49. So now equal to the, more points than they scored against Crime City so far.
Good job, Glasgow. We have a timeout.
And we're back to it. That looks like number 42, Marshall Lawless with the star on for Glasgow.
Against Maureen Phillip, number 11 for Stockholm in the blue.
But tell me what you think about that last jam. Hashtag talk, the number 2, SmackDown. I tell you what I'm thinking right now. Siobhan Sinclair, once again, that standout blocker for Glasgow. Knocks Maureen to the outside, forces a recycle back, but Maureen recovering well and picks up lead for Stockholm.
She got some beautiful offense from number 221, Sheila Combs. And we have the Glasgow jammer on the way to the box.
Cut track penalty assessed to her. Clara Viola and Siobhan Sinclair, the only blockers out for the hit. Tries to escort Maureen off the track, doesn't quite land it.
Oh, she's just dancing on the toe stops on the line.
Captain Shorty looking to rejoin the Glasgow wall. Coming up against some resistance from 0-0 Polygamy Winehouse. As Maureen Phillip through the pack once more, further 5 points for Stockholm. So 285 to 49. 15-point jam by Stockholm there. 40 minutes left on this second half.
We have number 87, Lil Slinky for Stockholm. And we have Lawless, the jammer for Glasgow, standing in the box. On her way back on track.
So Little Slinky making it through. I'm thinking, oh, Marshall Lawless just powering around the outside. Amy picking up Little Slinky. She comes in for a scoring pass. Glasgow recycling her back out. But Little Slinky, with all the power as lead jammer, calls off the jam, picking up 2 points for Stockholm, 0 to Glasgow.
That was a quick jam.
Just a quick 2 points. Just pick them up. Pick them up, drop them off. 287 to 49. Chance in the crowd for Glasgow.
And we have a team timeout, Glasgow.
Glasgow just taking that moment. Don't forget to tell us who your MVPs are. Blocker and Jammer, use the hashtag #TalkToSmackDown. Let us know who's been a real standout performer for you this weekend. Don't choose me, it's embarrassing.
I choose you.
Oh, I would definitely put me down as a Jammer, yeah. I'm there. All the skill and agility needed.
The bouncy thingy you do.
Oh, I know, right? You've seen me. I'm just, honestly, on track. Oh.
I've done both.
And which do you prefer?
I had a stint in jamming, and then I went back to blocking. And I love blocking.
I think that answers my question, doesn't it?
Yes. I tried. I gave it an honest try, and then I realized that no, let's block the shit out of this game.
Great. 7, 8, 9. That is General Strike on the Jammer line now for Glasgow. And for Stockholm, who's that?
I'd say it's Panic at a Hex.
Well, I'm glad
16.
you can tell just by her helmet, because she was ducked down so low at that start line then.
I also saw her tattoo.
Oh, okay. You cheated. That's fine. Panic at the Hex making it through. Lead Jammer for Stockholm. Glasgow's General Strike coming in and generally trying to strike every Stockholm blocker.
Manages quite good to, I don't know, strike them out. 2 Stockholm blockers in the box.
Great footwork by Panic at the Hex, and she was being escorted to the outside, desperately trying to keep in. Did a beautiful little kicking her feet up move. Ended up getting knocked out anyway. Called off the jam, called the jam dead. 0 points, 4 points to Stockholm, 0 points to Glasgow. 2:89 to 49, 12 minutes just over left of this game.
And once again, we have number 11, Maureen Phillip, for Stockholm against Jessie Ska, number 2 for Glasgow. And Maureen is first to the infield and recycles back. And we have Jessie Ska jumping around Sweetheart, getting the lead.
Yeah, lead for Glasgow. And forearms.
And so it's a power jam for Glasgow.
And Jessie Ska jumping to the outside line, avoiding the blocks from Swede. 4 points on the board for Glasgow.
And the crowd is loving Glasgow today.
Polygamy Winehouse hitting Jessie Ska out. That recycle all the way back once more.
And some offense from
7-3-0
yes.
Fever. She's off to the penalty box though for her troubles.
And we have Maureen back on track, and Jessie Ska calls it and picks up another 3 points.
Fantastic work by Glasgow there. 2:89 to 57. 10 minutes just over left of this second half. And, you know, we had a quick check-in at that penalty box at half-time. Glasgow, we knew were really going to have to manage their penalties.
Yes.
507 Phoenix was on 5.
We also have had Testa Mess from Stockholm on 5. I don't think she's been to the box this half. Maybe because she hasn't been to the track so much this half.
She's been grounded. Okay, little Slinky is not grounded. She's flying around that track. Already picked up now.
Flying around those Glasgow blockers.
And Marshall Lawless off to the penalty box. Back block penalty, says to her. Power jam for Stockholm now. And a place where little Slinky really can shine with those mad skating skills she's got.
Nice.
Shown us here by the Duke and the Jive. 5 more points on the board for Stockholm.
And once again, Polygamy Winehouse on her way to the box.
And it's almost like little Slinky's wearing a invisibility cloak.
Yes.
because
Definitely.
she's just moving around those blockers. Very little challenge. A little bit extra this time. Calls the jam just as Lawless is released from the box. 319 to 57.
How did that happen?
How did 319 happen? I think it's called Lil Slinky.
Ah, okay. Good point.
I think Lil Slinky happened, and so many points also happened.
Yes. Remember to talk to us at talk2 SmackDown at Twitter and tell us who your MVP players are for this tournament. And we have Quidditch out for the lead for Stockholm.
Seven, 8, 9, General Strike also out of the pack for Glasgow.
Forces a quick caller for Quidditch, who picks up 3 points for Stockholm.
So 265 point differential right now then.
You're one of the announcers who can count.
No, I'm using a calculator,
Oh.
I don't mind telling you. Because
Sorry.
anybody who knows me knows that if it's over 10, I don't know. 322 to 57. 8 minutes just over left of this second half. Glasgow in the yellow, Stockholm in the blue.
And we have Maureen for lead for Stockholm against Jessie Ska for Glasgow, who's stuck behind that Stockholm wall in the front.
Jessie Scado not being passive in being stuck behind this wall. You can see that she's using every ounce of strength to just push against those walls, try and find the weakness, try and find the opening. Because Maureen also doing the same with the Glasgow walls, finds the tiniest of spaces, little bit of a turn, breaks on through, picks up 5 points for Stockholm.
If it's one thing we've seen this weekend, it's so many hard and tough walls from all teams.
Definitely. Oh my goodness. Maureen off to the penalty box.
For a forearm penalty, which means power jam for Jessie Ska.
Well, Jessie Ska out of her initial pass now. 2 blockers out on track for Stockholm. She's knocked to the outside. Cut track penalty assessed to her.
And also Cracker on her way to the box from Stockholm.
So cut track penalty for Jessie Ska. Penalty also for 823 Cara Viola. 3 on 3 in the pack as Maureen returns. Polygamy Winehouse looking to clear the space. And a beautiful side recycle from Stockholm gives a protective opening on the inside line for Maureen to use. Maureen skating out of bounds, one-footed. Re-enters the track. Jam comes to an end.
4 points picked up in that last pass for Maureen.
So 336 to 57. 5 minutes 45 left of this game.
And we have some jammer on jammer action on the jammer line.
Marshall Lawless being picked up by the wall of blue from Stockholm, allowing Little Slinky free passage, picking up lead for Stockholm. Oh, Little Slinky coming in very hard, but very clean. 5 points
She is
picked
very
up.
hard.
She is. Well, I think she looks hard as nails, let me tell you. Takes the outside line.
Whips up Testament and just passes through.
Well, that was a crowd pleaser. What a brilliant moment to capture. Little apex jump into the space. Another 5 points picked up by Stockholm.
She has all the tricks in her toolbox. Not
Marshall
afraid to use
Lawless
them.
around the hips there of 2-2-1. Sherlock Holmes out on her initial pass as Little Slinky approaching the Glasgow walls once again. Calls off the jam. Wow. Little Slinky just has as you say, these amazing tricks and skills in her toolbox. The crowd very much enjoyed that shirt whip.
That was pretty.
It was
awesome.
pretty.
Yeah, it was very awesome.
3-5-3 now to Stockholm, 57 to Glasgow.
Just over 4 minutes left. We have Panic at a Hex running through on the outside for Stockholm Roller Derby.
General Strike in the mix. Makes it out on her initial pass, but she's almost a full lap behind. Sarah McMillan helping with that though. Knocks Panic at the Hex to the outside, forces a recycle. Naka just decides to call off the jam instead. So a 0-0 jam there. Spud, spud. That's what we say, you know, like potatoes? No? Yeah, spuds. It's a northern thing.
Really?
Yeah, like chips and gravy and cheese.
You're doing some kind of British references now?
Well, you know, I thought I might try and go multicultural.
Oh, I'm learning so much from you today.
So, team timeout called by Glasgow.
Yes.
They're having some seriously strong chants.
Yes.
I don't know what the song was, but it sounded fantastic and the crowd certainly feel behind them.
And in the meantime, we have some dancing from Stockholm blockers on the jam line. I always dance during official reviews.
Just in general, in life, I dance through official reviews.
Yes, yes.
Tell us what you dance through. Use the hashtag #2 SmackDown. I've said already today on the live stream that I think my life would be so much better if I just had a bench coach. Just with me.
For life?
Yeah, bench coach for life.
That would be awesome.
It really would, wouldn't
Yes.
it? Okay, we're ready to get back to some action right now. Number 2, Jessie Scarf for Glasgow wearing the star.
And number 11, Maureen Phillip for Stockholm. And we have an empty penalty box, so full complement of blockers on track.
And we're off. Maureen Phillips surrounded by a wall of yellow blockers. Really struggling to get through. Number 91, Amy moving forward to pick her up. But Maureen's through for lead. Jessie
And
Scar.
oh my god, that apex jump from Maureen.
Jessie Scar tried to stick her hip in the way there. Tried to stop that apex jump from being successful. Doesn't land it. This time Maureen comes in a more traditional way and picks up a back block for her troubles. She's going to sit for 30 seconds. Power jam to Glasgow. But so far Jessie Scar stuck behind Sweetheart. Oh, but breaks on through. Initial pass completed. Glasgow rushing Stockholm, looking for the sweep. Jessie Scar takes advantage. 5 points on the board for Glasgow.
And Maureen Phillip is back on track.
Oh, Jessie Scar takes the hit out there. Sweetheart and 131 Cracker working in tandem. Into the infield.
Maureen just slams to that Glasgow wall, but gets hit out.
Watson providing some offense for Jessie Scar. One person against that wall of Stockholm blockers, though, can be difficult. Jessie Scar now to the outside, finds a space. Sweetheart chasing it through. But Jessie Scar picking up those 4 points for Glasgow. Well, jam comes to an end.
We've had some Twitter love for Slinky. I can't pronounce it because it's just random letters in some such excitement. And also from one of our teammates who tells so much stronger than she looks, which is true.
I can imagine. So let's check in with those scores as we've got less than a minute on the official clock. Glasgow 66, SDRD 367. We're going into what could be one of the final jams. Marshall Lawless number 42 with the start for Glasgow.
Against Little Slinky, 87 for Stockholm.
Little Slinky comes up against Shortimate Lightning Pants, who knocks her to the outside, forces that recycle back. Marshall Lawless looking for an in, but Little Slinky finds it first on the inside line. She is lead. Marshall Lawless out of the pack, but half a lap behind Little Slinky. As Siobhan Sinclair, the only blocker out on track. Little Slinky calls the jam dead.
And we have 20 seconds left on the period clock. So I'm not sure if we're gonna have another jam or not.
371 to 66. Clock winds down, and that's the end. Well, Bitter, your first time on live stream.
Yes,
I hope it was as enjoyable for you as it was for me.
it was lovely.
Oh,
Thank you for letting me join.
So let's just recap those scores. We'll get the final in a moment, but so far today, this morning, London versus Glasgow. London 526, Glasgow 9. Crime City versus Helsinki. Crime City 176, Helsinki 70. And just waiting on that final, there we go. Stockholm 371, Glasgow 66. Up next we do have Helsinki versus Detroit, and that's the last stream game for today.
That's going to be
In fact, for the tournament, because it's ended, hasn't it?
I think that's going to be an amazing game, the next one.
Yep, looking at Detroit yesterday, they lost to London, 79 points to 345. They played Crime City winning there 233 to 75. So it will be interesting to see how Helsinki do. They, of course, lost to Crime City 70 to Crime City's 176. So I think it's going to be a fairly even matchup. It's going to be an interesting to watch. Do stay tuned on the stream. That's due to start at 4 o'clock our time, and whatever time that is for you, I don't know.
I'd say it's in about half an hour.
About how, there you go. That's a more sensible way of saying it, isn't it? Rather than trying to work out everybody's time differences where they live. Of course, well done, but I'm glad you're here. So, 371 to 66, I have been the lovely Beatrix, and joining me for the first time ever on live stream for the second half of this game,
Bitter Hitta.
Bitter Hitter. Thank you, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you.